In 1913, Pope St. Pius X restored the Feast of the Holy Rosary to the anniversary of the victory at Lepanto in 1571 to the date now universally observed, October 7th. In honor of this victory, G.K. Chesterton in 1911 penned his famous poem, Lepanto.
White founts falling in the courts of the sun, and the Sultan of Byzantium is smiling as they run. There is laughter like the fountains in that face of all men feared. It stirs the forest darkness, the darkness of his beard. It curls the blood-red crescent, the crescent of his lips, for the inmost sea of all the earth is shaken with his ships. They have dared the white republics up the capes of Italy. They have dashed the Adriatic round the lion of the sea. And the Pope has cast his arms abroad for agony and loss, and called the kings of Christendom for swords about the cross. The cold Queen of England is looking in the glass. The shadow of Valois is yawning at the mass. From evening isles fantastical rings faint the Spanish gun, and the Lord upon the golden horn is laughing in the sun. Dim drums throbbing in the hills half heard, where only on a nameless throne a crownless princess stirred, where risen from a doubtful seat and half-attained stall, the last knight of Europe takes weapons from the wall, and last and lingering troubadour, to whom the bird has sung, that once went singing southward when all the world was young. And that enormous silence, tiny and unafraid, comes up along a winding road, the noise of the crusade. Strong gongs groaning as the guns boom far, Don Juan of Austria is going to the war. Stiff flags straining in the night blasts cold, and the gloom black purple and the glint old gold. Torchlight crimson on the copper kettle drums, then the tuckets, then the trumpets, then the cannon, and he comes. Don Juan laughing and the brave beard curled, spurning of his stirrups like the thrones of all the world, holding up his head for the flag of all the free. Love light of Spain, hurrah! Death light of Africa, Don Juan of Austria is riding to the sea. Mahound is in his paradise above the evening star, but Don Juan of Austria is going to the war. He moves a mighty turban on the timeless Ari's knees, his turban that is woven of the sunset and the seas. He shakes the peacock gardens as he rises from his ease, and he strides among the treetops and is taller than the trees, and his voice through all the garden is thunder sent to bring black Israel and Ariel and Ammon on the wing. Giants and genii, multiplex of wing and eye, whose strong obedience broke the sky when Solomon was king. They rush in red and purple from the red clouds of the morn, from the temple where the yellow gods shut up their eyes in scorn. They rise in green robes, roaring from the green hells of the sea, where fallen skies and evil hues and eyeless creatures be. On them the sea valves cluster and the gray sea forests curl, splashed with a splendid sickness, the sickness of the pearl. They swell in sapphire smoke out of the blue cracks of the ground. They gather and they wonder and they give worship to Mahound. And he saith, break up the mountains where the hermit folk hide, and sift the red and the silver sands, lest bone of saint abide, and chase the gyres flying night and day, not giving rest, for that which was our trouble comes again out of the west. We have set the seal of Solomon on all things under the sun, of knowledge and of sorrow and endurance of things done. But a noise is in the mountains, and I know the voice that shook our palaces 400 years ago. It is he that saith not Kismet, it is he that knows not fate. It is Richard, it is Raymond, it is Godfrey at the gate. It is he whose loss is laughter when he counts the wager worth. Put down your feet upon him, that our peace be on the earth. For he heard drums groaning, and he heard guns jar. Don Juan of Austria is going to the war. Sudden and still, hurrah! Bolt from Iberia, Don Juan of Austria is gone by Alcalar. St. Michael's on his mountain, and the sea roads of the north, Don Juan of Austria is girt and going forth. where the gray seas glitter and the sharp tides shift, and the sea folks labor and the red sails lift. He shakes his lance of iron and he claps his wings of stone. The noise has gone through Normandy, but the noise has gone alone. The north is full of tangled things and texts and aching eyes, and dead is all the innocence of anger and surprise. And Christian killeth Christian in a narrow dusty room, and Christians dreadeth Christ that hath a newer face of doom, and Christians hateth Mary that God kissed in Galilee. But Don Juan of Austria is riding to the sea, Don Juan calling through the blast and the eclipse, crying with a trumpet of his lips, trumpet that saith, Ha! Domino Gloria! Don Juan of Austria is shouting to the ships. King Philip's in his closet with a fleece about his neck. Don Juan of Austria is armed upon the deck. The walls are hung with velvet that is black and soft as sin, and little dwarfs creep out of it and little dwarfs creep in. He holds a crystal phial that has colors like the moon. He touches and it tingles, and he trembles very soon. And his face is as a fungus of leprous white and gray, like plants on the high houses that are shuttered from the day. And death is in the phial, and the end of noble work. But Don Juan of Austria has fired upon the Turk. Don Juan's hunting, and the hounds have bayed. Booms away past Italy the rumor of his raid. Gun upon gun, ha! Gun upon gun, hurrah! Don Juan of Austria has loosed the cannonade. The Pope was in his chapel before day or battle broke. Don Juan of Austria is hidden in the smoke. The hidden room in man's house where God sits all the year. The secret window whence the world looks small and very dear. He sees, as in a mirror, on the monstrous twilight sea, the crescent of his cruel ships, whose name is a mystery. They fling great shadows forwards, making cross and castle dark. They veil the plumed lions on the galleys of St. Mark. And above the ships are palaces of brown, black-bearded chiefs, and below the ships are prisons where the multitudinous griefs. Christian captives, sick and sunless, all a laboring race repines, like a race in sunken cities, like a nation in the mines. They are lost, like slaves that sweat, in the skies of the morning hung the stairways of the tallest gods when tyranny was young. They are countless, voiceless, hopeless as those fallen or fleeing on, before the high king's horses in the granite of Babylon. And many a one grows witless in his quiet room in hell, where a yellow face looks inward through the lattice of his cell, and he finds his God forgotten, and he seeks no more a sign. But Don Juan of Austria has burst the battle line, Don Juan pounding from the slaughter-painted poop, purpling all the ocean like the bloody pirate sloop, scarlet running over on the silvers and the golds, breaking of the hatches up and bursting of the holds, thronging of the thousands up that labor under sea, white for bliss and blind for sun, and stunned for liberty. Vivat Hispania, Domino Gloria! Don Juan of Austria has set his people free. Cervantes on his galley sets the sword back in the sheath. Don Juan of Austria rides homeward with a wreath. And he sees across a weary land a straggling rounded Spain, up which a lean and foolish knight forever rides in vain. And he smiles, but not as sultans smile, and settles back the blade. For Don Juan of Austria rides home from the crusade.